Hello students, welcome to the video lecture class of Strength of Material. Here in this video, I am going to explain about the stresses developed in thin spherical cell, how to calculate the change in dimension of the spherical cell. Now before entering into the stresses developed in the spherical cell, first of all know that what is the definition of spherical cell. As shown in the diagram, we are having a sphere may be converted into two hemispheres. These two hemispheres, when togetherly attached with each other, we are getting a sphere. For a thin spherical cell, the ratio of radius to all thickness, that is R is your radius, T is your thickness, then R by T should be greater than 10. These spherical cells are theoretical ideal shape for a vessel that resists the internal pressure of fluid. The pressure vessels are closed structures containing liquids or gases under pressure. The pressure vessels may be tanks or pipes or pressurized cabins. So we know about the sphere is used to store the fluids under pressure. So while they are storing the fluid, the pressure of internal fluid is acting along its circumferential directions. A sphere is a three-dimensional figure as shown in the figure, and the pressure inside the vessel is acting along the radius of the sphere. Now, why failure takes place in the thin spherical cell? If the material that is used for spherical cell is not withstanding the pressure of fluid inside it, then it may be failed or it is splitted into two hemispheres. This is the original shape of the sphere. Now it is a three-dimensional figure. The pressure will be acting along the three directions of the sphere, that is along the radius of the sphere. If the pressure of fluid increases, then the sphere will be converted into two hemispheres as shown in the figure. There is one half of hemisphere of the sphere. Now where the red color portion is known as your internal diameter of the sphere, the outer circle, or that is your thickness of the sphere. The arrow marks are suggesting that this is the pressure force exerted by the fluid inside the sphere. Now we'll go for calculation part for the stresses developed in spherical cell. In earlier case, we have studied that due to the pressure of fluid increases inside the vessel, it will convert the sphere into two hemispheres. As shown in the figure, we are having, this is the original sphere. So as the pressure energy increases, during that time this plate is known as your cutting plane. This cutting plane causes that the sphere is converted into two half spheres, or that is known as hemispheres, where the arrows are suggesting that these are the resistance offered by the material of the sphere, and due to this resistance offered by the sphere during the internal fluid pressure acting inside the liquid, inside the sphere, so the sphere may not be bursted into two hemispheres. We have to go for study that the safety condition of the sphere. Now consider the thin spherical shell is used to store the oil or water under pressure, where P is the pressure of fluid inside the shell, T is the thickness of the shell, D the diameter of the sphere. Now while the internal pressure of the fluid increases, during that time the bursting of the sphere takes place. So the total bursting force, or that is the fluid pressure force, should be equal to the resistance force offered by the material of the shell. Now you have to find out the total bursting force and the resistance force offered by the material of the shell. As shown in the figure, we are having, this is the circular cross section of the sphere, and this hemispherical surface is a circular type. Now the pressure is acting along the diameter, so area is equal to pi by 4 d square. As pressure is acting along the circumference, hence now area is equal to pi by 4 d square into p. Another is equal to your resistance force offered by the material of shell. If you are going to open this circular surface, then we will get a rectangle. From the front view, if you will see that this circular part will be seen to us as a rectangular body. So pi d is nothing but, this is the length of the hemisphere while it is opened. Now pi d and thickness of the rectangle is t. So area of the surface where the resistance force is applied by the material is equal to pi d into t. Due to this resistance force, the pressure bursting force will be equal to that of the resisting force offered by the shell and is equal to pi dt into sigma c. The circumferential stress is caused due to the bursting force. So now pressure force is equal to P into pi by 4 into d square. Resisting force is equal to pi dt into sigma c. Now sigma c is equal to, so pi cancel out, rest of term is Pd by 40. In this way we conclude that in case of spherical shell, the circumferential stress is obtained as sigma c is equal to Pd by 40. Next, we'll go for calculation of strain in spherical shell. We have already know about that due to the internal fluid pressure, the deformation of sphere may be taken place. If the internal fluid pressure is more than that of the resistance capacity of the vessel, now the spherical shell is converted into two hemispheres. So there is two types of deformation takes place along the diameter of the spherical shell and volume of the spherical shell. two types of strain produced in thin spherical cell, that is Hooft strain and volumetric strain. Go for calculation of Hooft strain. For a spherical cell, d is the diameter. So while the internal fluid pressure is more during that time, the diameter of the sphere will be increased. So Hooft strain is equal to the ratio of change in diameter to original diameter of the cylinder. It is denoted by symbol EC. EC is equal to change in diameter by original diameter, that is del D by T. Mathematically, circumferential strain is equal to del D by T. Now we have to calculate the circumferential strain. So Hooft strain or circumferential strain is equal to combined effect of longitudinal strain along the x direction and lateral strain along the transverse direction, or that is known as your y direction. So now circumferential strain EC is equal to longitudinal strain along x and lateral strain along y. So mu is equal to lateral strain by longitudinal strain. Lateral strain can be obtained as mu into longitudinal strain along y direction. So Ex plus mu into Ey. Already longitudinal strain is equal to stress by Young's modulus minus mu into longitudinal strain along y, that is sigma c by E. As the sphere is only one dimension, that is diameter, so along the x and y direction there is only one parameter is there, that is known as your diameter is increases along the x direction and diameter decreases along the y direction. So we are getting that Hooft strain is equal to sigma c by E, may be common out, whole bracket 1 minus mu. So now change in diameter can be obtained from the Hooft strain. EC is equal to del D by D. Now we are having sigma c by E 1 minus mu. So del D is equal to EC into D. So EC into D means EC value is sigma c by E 1 minus mu. So change in diameter of sphere is obtained as del D equal to D into sigma c by E 1 minus mu. Next, go for calculation of volumetric strain. We know that volumetric strain means that is the ratio of change in volume to original volume of thin spherical cell under the action of internal fluid pressure. So now EV is equal to change in volume by original volume, so that is del V by P. Now finding out the original volume of the sphere is equal to V is equal to pi by 6 d cube. The change in volume of sphere can be obtained by taking partial derivative of volume with respect to diameter. So del V by del D, now the expression will be del V by del D. So del by del D of volume pi by 6 d cube. So taking the derivation, we are having 3d square del D into pi by 6 is equal to del V, that is change in volume. Volumetric strain now will be obtained as EV is equal to change in volume by original volume pi by 6 3d square into del D divided by pi by 6 into dq. So we are getting pi by 6 will be cancelled out and dq d square will be cancelled out, remaining is d. Last we are getting that 3 del D by T. So del D by D is nothing but that is strain along the circumferential direction. So EV is equal to 3 EC, that is 3 into sigma c by E 1 minus mu. So change in volume can be obtained as EV is equal to 3 EC. So 3 into sigma c by E 1 minus mu, and del V is equal to 3 into sigma c by E 1 minus mu into V.